Solitaire video. Tonight, we continue our journey to 1000 with the original Mickey Mouse deck. Alright, despite your viewpoints on this one, I think we all can agree this deck looks pretty nice. So let's take a look at the cards and see what we'll be working with tonight. Oh, look at that smile. Okay, look at those smiles, and let's get into this deck. So far, good first impressions. And I think we have a good one tonight, so let's start this one by saying one of our favorite things created by Disney and one of our least. So that is the deck. Let's shuffle it up and get this going. So my favorite Disney movie, 100% hands down, is Aladdin, the original. I didn't even waste my time with the new one. And my least favorite has to be what Disney has done to Star Wars. Alright, you're up. And there could be so many valid opinions on this one, and I'm just curious to see what you have to say. But despite that, this deck does look pretty neat. I like the organization and the colors. Kind of like a dark Empire deck. And with that being said, let's deal out our first game of the night. Oh, Mickey Mouse. How many of you were Disney kids growing up? How many of you were Nickelodeon kids? And how many of you were Boomerang / Cartoon Network kids? Myself, I was a Nickelodeon kid and never watched the Disney Channel. I always thought it was interesting and annoying how Disney had 3 channels dedicated all to itself, all in sequential order. And Nickelodeon only had 1, maybe 2, after a couple years. And I think Nickelodeon beats out Disney, in my opinion. Nick at Night and those early morning Urkels, Family Matters, Fresh Prince. What else did they have early morning? I guess George Lopez after a point. Were fun. Plus Cartoon Network, that's its own being. But what did you grow up with? I think my Mickey Mouse equivalent was Courage the Cowardly Dog. Both small, rodent-looking creatures, in a sense, with a strong personality and interesting storylines. And come to think of it, I wonder if Courage the Cowardly Dog has ever been compared to Mickey Mouse. Probably. Alright, decent start. Obviously, some room for improvement. So let's see how we do. I think this might be a quick game on second look. Dang. I guess another reason I never watched Disney Channel is because I thought it was all just Mickey Mouse stuff. And I had no idea that it had other shows That's So Raven or whatever else there is. Honestly, no clue. And I thought it was a fair trade-off to have Tom and Jerry instead of Mickey Mouse. Honestly, I thought I had more I could talk about with Mickey Mouse, but honestly, nothing really. As there's nowhere for that 6, 7, king, or 8. So we move on to game number 2. Did you ever notice that growing up? Like specifically in elementary school? I know where I'm from. Disney Channel kids, Nickelodeon kids really had a little divisive culture for whatever reason. Some doubles in there. And you're either a Disney kid or a Nickelodeon kid. I think everyone watched Cartoon Network a little bit, but there was typically no Nickelodeon and Disney. And friendships were started over the shows people would watch. And as a kid, no one watched the stuff I watched, and it was kind of a bummer. I would watch this thing called Toonami on Cartoon Network, where it would show anime type shows like Shin-Chan, Samurai Jack, Dragon Ball, Bleach. Yeah, just those types of shows, but nobody ever watched them. I used to watch that Teen Nick, where typically it would be the non-animated Nickelodeon TV shows, like Ned's Declassified, Zoe 101. I think that was it for the most part. And this show called Degrassi that I never cared for. Oh, and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I loved that show. That silly little black cat. Oh, and the other group of kids in elementary school who didn't watch either of those watched Mythbusters. And honestly, looking back, I wish I was a Mythbusters kid sometimes. That show's pretty cool if you've never seen it. That kind of sounded like a fart. And I'm giving a little bit of a smile right now. Game number 2. Here we come. Nice run we're on. Awesome. I was gonna say before we got into that, I guess for me, there isn't really a real sentimental value to Mickey Mouse or Disney. And honestly, it kind of irritates me going out shopping for whatever reason, even to the grocery store, and you just see Mickey Mouse everywhere. It's like an infestation, just everywhere you go, and it kind of irritates me a bit. Does anyone else get that way? Or ever notice it? Like you're going down the cereal aisle and you see like Mickey Mouse ears or whatever. Then you go to, let's say, breakfast bars, you see Mickey Mouse again. Fruit Punch, Mickey Mouse Mouse orange juice, Mickey Mouse freaking pregnancy tests. It's ridiculous. I think I understand why my father called Mickey Mouse Mickey Rat or something. Because rats are infestations. I don't think you really can have an infestation of mice. Even Mickey Mouse vegetables. That's the thing that just really makes no sense at all. I feel like I'm on a ship by myself here when talking about this. I don't know why. Maybe because there's a silent crowd and there's no feedback type of feel. I just feel like an old man ranting. Anyway, second fat stack right down the middle. And it looks like that is it for this one. Let's see if we could build any more. As we put down a 3, there's no 4 of hearts. Oh, there it is, actually. And we have a second chance on this one. Oh, there we go. That's gonna help. Here we go. Let's actually just build what we can. Oh, we do not have the 2 of diamonds. I stand corrected. Let's build. Come on, Bob. And that's it. Three of spades. And just like that, my friend, I think we have just secured our first win of the night. So let's start stacking up these cards and see where it leads us on this one. For this one, I should say. 6, and there we go. Win number 1. You think we have 2 on us tonight? And here we go. All of these spades in order, ace to king, along with all of the clubs, the hearts, followed by the diamonds. Let's do our victory shuffle. Let's see how we did. Alright, so we stumbled a bit, we recovered, and recovered again. Do we recover another time? No, we do not, so a little bit of a mixed bag on that one. Alright, game number 3. Here we come. 2 fat stacks, I believe. 1 win added to our growing totals. I wonder where we're at now, win-wise. Out of 600 plus videos, you'd think we'd have at least 200 wins. But my friend, this game is very, very mean to us, so I have no clue. Fat stacks, that's a different story. I think we'd probably have about 412. And if one of you crazy people out there is going through and counting right now, from the first episode on, and you're retabulating the stats, and that's where we're at, you know, that's impressive. And I'd like a prize for that. I'll take a Subway sandwich. Here we go. Game number 3. And we start with a king. design is just as pleasing. It's probably my favorite part. Now, the actual cards have a bit of a bend. You can't really see too well. That is a little bit annoying, but not too bad. So good card design. Durability, questionable. Texture, pretty good. I think this deck is going to get a solid 7.5, and that's surprising to me. I thought I'd get at least an 8, but the durability is the biggest question mark with this deck. And I don't think it would last through too many plays, especially if you play with cards a bit. Or like some kids, you know. Them and their sticky fingers would absolutely destroy this one. That sounds very offensive, does it not? Those kids and their sticky fingers. Anyway, 7.5. Oh, these darn twos. These darn tootin' twos. As I think that's the end of our third game, as there's nowhere for that queen. 3, 7, 10. Oh, wait a second. That 4 has a spot. Alright, so we pick up from here. Nowhere for that queen. 3, 7, 10. Jack. Or jack. On to game number 4. Alright, let's do another question for you while you're nodding off. How many of you have been to Disneyland or Disney World? And if so, what is your favorite ride or memory? Now, I've been to Disneyland, I think 3 times. And I was gonna say, each time was against my will. Actually, twice. Was it twice? Twice. The first time is when I was a young kid. I shared the story probably within the past 50 episodes, so I'll let it be short. And I was taken there because my cousin from another country had never been. So we went there. And that was it. The second time was during a school trip. And it was actually kind of fun that time because when you're with friends, everything is better. So, I think it was around freshman year. And you know, freshmen's, how they could be all, I know I was a sophomore. Or was I a junior? I was a sophomore. One of those 3, you know. It's just a range. Went with some friends. Hanging out with some of the section and just had some fun throughout the day. But I remember most is one of my friends wanting to get gumbo. And I was like, what the heck is gumbo? And they said it's good. They offered to give me some, and that was kind of surprising. I refused even though I wanted to try it. Do you ever do that? When someone asks if you want something, you want it, and then you refuse because you're trying to be polite. Yeah, we're weird people, aren't we? Makes no logical sense. Anyway, I remember that, going to see the Captain EO exhibit, I guess is what you'd call it. Going and waiting in the lines. And yeah, waiting until the end of the day, just tired. All of us wanting to go back home and sleep in our beds. That's always such an interesting thing about going out. It's all fun for a while, and then at the end of the night, you kind of just want to sleep in your bed and just relax. So now we have triple fives, and our chances of winning this one have drastically dropped. But that doesn't mean we aren't still in it. If we can get a red jack, we might have a good chance. Or a red four. Or both. You know, the more the better. There's the red jack. There is the 10 to follow. We have another king to place down, as we have another king waiting for a queen. And for some reason Mickey looks pissed right there. My goodness. It's like Minnie stepped on his Cheerios or something. Anyway, better chance, better looking game, but I don't know. Still too much missing, as we have no place left on the field. Nowhere for that 9, 8, 10, and lastly, king. So we move on to our final game of the night. Honestly, these little designs throughout the cards are making me feel like the cards are a little bit dirty, and I don't quite like it as much as I did initially. Alright, let's see what we had left unturned in this one, as we have double twos, fours, and that is it. Final game of the night. Mickey Mouse, what's in store for us this time? I swear I've been to Disneyland 3 times, but I can't remember the third. I remember that too. The class was going to Disneyland. It's either you had the option to go to Disneyland or just stay home. And I wanted to stay home. But my friends kind of pushed me and nagged me to go. And so I went. It was worth it, but it's kind of funny how a lot of kids say, "Oh my gosh, we're going to Disneyland, I can't wait." But yeah, I think one of my friends and I actually planned to just hang out, if that were the case, but we both got dragged along. Don't get me wrong, it was still a fun experience. But it doesn't matter where you're at, as long as you're with the right people. Anything can be enjoyable. Game number 5, here we come. I'm not liking these twos again. Here we go. Final fight. And we're already down in the first round. Thank you for something, but I think it's too little, too late, as we are filled with just low cards throughout the field, and it's not looking too promising. Yeah, I think we might be done, my friend. And just like that, we have reached the end of our night. Time for our double check, as there's nowhere for that 8, second 8, 7, jack, 5, 4, 7, or 10. Alright, let's clean it up and see the final cards left over, as we have there's gonna be a triplet watch. There are gonna be two triplets. Double fives. Double queens. Double sixes. Double kings. Double nines. Triple queens. Triple nines. I told you. And just like that, another episode down on our journey to 1,000. It's been fun. And with that being said, I hope you have yourself a relaxing remainder of your nights. Many, many sweet dreams.